I am going to say something to you right now that nobody in your life has ever said to you. And I need you to hear it not just with your ears, but with your whole body. You have parasites. Not in the way a doctor would describe it, not the kind that show up on a medical test. I'm talking about something older than medicine and more real than most people are willing to accept. You have things attached to your soul that are feeding off of you right now while you sit there, while you go through your day. While you lie in your bed at night wondering why you feel so empty when nothing obviously terrible is happening in your life. They have been there for a while. Some of them you picked up from other people. Some of them walked in through doors you opened without knowing what you were opening. Some of them have been in your family line so long that everybody just accepted them as personality traits or bad luck or just the way things are in your family. They are not personality traits. They are not bad luck. They are not just the way things are. They are parasites of the soul. And today I'm going to show you exactly how our shamans, our medicine people, cleaned them out for free, with nothing but what you already have and what this earth has always provided. So stay with me, because what I am about to give you took our people generations to learn, and it costs you absolutely nothing. Now I need to explain what a soul parasite actually is, according to Cherokee spiritual understanding. Because the word parasite is my translation of something our elders described in a much more specific way. They did not use that word. They used a word that means roughly an uninvited feeder. Something that has attached to your energy body, not your physical body, your energy body, the spirit layer of you that exists inside and around your physical form, and that sustains itself by drawing from your life force, your vitality, your clarity, your joy, your motivation, the things that make you feel like yourself. When a soul parasite is present, those things begin to slowly drain away, and you cannot find the leak, no matter how much sleep you get, or how many things you try to fix in your external life. Because the leak is not in your external life, it is in your spirit, and you cannot fix a spiritual leak with a physical solution. That is why people go to therapy for years and still feel the same emptiness. That is why people change their jobs and their cities and their relationships and carry the same heaviness into every new beginning, because they never addressed what was feeding on them at the root. Our medicine people addressed it at the root. That is what I am giving you today. Now I want to tell you how our shamans first identified a soul parasite in someone who came to them for help. Because before you can clean something out, you have to know it is there. And there are very specific signs that our medicine people were trained to look for, and that I am going to give you right now so you can recognize them in yourself. The first sign is chronic and unexplained fatigue that no amount of rest fixes. You sleep 8 hours and wake up tired. You rest on the weekend and go into Monday already depleted. Our shamans said the body is tired because it is working overtime to compensate for what is being taken. A body hosting a soul parasite is like a cup with a hole in the bottom. You can keep filling it, but it never stays full. The second sign is a persistent feeling of being watched or not alone, even in an empty room. Not paranoia, something quieter and more constant than that. A background awareness that something is present that should not be present. Our medicine people said this feeling is actually the spirit body perceiving the parasite accurately. Your spirit knows it is there. It has been trying to tell you. The third sign is sudden and dramatic changes in your appetite or your desire, either wanting everything or wanting nothing, either craving things that drain you further, excessive food, excessive sleep, excessive distraction, or losing all appetite for the things that used to bring you life. Our elders described this as the parasite regulating your intake to serve its own needs, keeping you just functional enough to keep feeding it, but never vital enough to think clearly about what is happening. The fourth sign is recurring negative thought loops that feel like they belong to you, but that you cannot trace to any specific belief or experience you actually had. Thoughts that say you are not enough. Thoughts that say nothing will ever change. Thoughts that circle the same dark territory every single day, regardless of what is actually happening in your life. Our shamans were very clear. Not all thoughts that appear in your mind originated in your mind. Some of them were put there. Some of them are being sustained and amplified by something that benefits from you staying small and stuck and depleted. Now, I want to talk about where these things come from, because our people were not naive about this. They understood that soul parasites do not simply appear from nowhere. They enter through specific openings. And knowing the openings is part of the cleaning, because if you clean without closing the doors, they came through. They or others like them simply return. The first opening is prolonged grief that was never properly honored. In Cherokee tradition, grief is a sacred process. It has a beginning, a middle, and a necessary completion. When grief is interrupted, when someone is told to move on too quickly, when they suppress it and perform functionality before they have actually moved through it, it leaves an open wound in the spirit body, and open wounds attract feeders. Our medicine people said unprocessed grief is the most common entry point they encountered. Not because grief is weak, but because it is an opening that was meant to be tended and was left untended instead. The second opening is sexual or deeply intimate connection with someone who was themselves carrying something. Our elders were very frank about this. They said that during genuine intimacy, the spirit bodies of two people overlap, and what one carries, the other can receive. This is why the Cherokee were so careful and so intentional about who they came together with. Not from shame, from understanding, from knowing that what you allow close to you at that level, you may carry long after the person is gone. The third opening is spaces and places, buildings that have held great suffering, land that has not been honored, rooms where terrible things happened that were never addressed spiritually. Our people said that energy does not leave a space simply because time passes. It stays until it is moved. And when you spend significant time in spaces that are heavily loaded with unresolved energy without protection, you can carry something home with you. The fourth opening is your own words spoken against yourself. Our shamans believed this so deeply that they treated self-cursing as a serious spiritual emergency. Words like, I am worthless, I am cursed, nothing good ever happens to me. They said these words do not disappear after you say them. They land in the spirit body like seeds, and they create conditions that attract feeders the way rotten fruit attracts insects. Our people were extremely careful about the words they spoke about themselves. Now, the cleaning. The $0 shaman method that our medicine people used and that I have used my entire life and that I am giving you right now in full. The first step our shamans called the declaration of refusal. You do this alone in your space, standing, feet on the ground or floor, spine straight. You speak aloud. Not in your head, with your actual voice, your actual breath, your actual body. You say, I do not consent to anything feeding from my energy. I withdraw every permission, whether I gave it knowingly or unknowingly. What is not mine does not belong here, and I am removing it now. Say it 3 times. Our medicine people said 3 because 1 is a statement, 2 is a decision, and 3 is an action. You need all 3. The declaration of refusal is the beginning of the cleaning, and it works because in the spirit world, intention combined with voice carries authority. The second step is fire or smoke. If you have access to a fire outside, this is the most powerful form. If not, a candle will do. A lit sage bundle will do. You sit or stand before the flame or the smoke, and you breathe slowly, and you imagine. And when I say imagine, I do not mean pretend. I mean genuinely see with the eyes inside you. You see the light of the flame entering your body with each inhale, starting at the top of your head, moving slowly downward through every layer of you. And with each exhale, you see it carrying out with it whatever does not belong. Dark, dense foreign matter leaving your body with the breath and being consumed by the flame. Our shamans did this until it felt complete, not for a set number of minutes, until it felt complete. Your body will tell you when it feels complete. There will be a shift in your chest, a lightness that was not there before, sometimes a physical deep breath that comes on its own. That breath is the sign. That is the body releasing. The third step is cold water over the wrists and the back of the neck, immediately after the fire or smoke work. Cold water, running cold water over the pulse points, the wrists, the inside of the elbows, the back of the neck where the skull meets the spine. Our medicine people said these are the points where the spirit body is closest to the surface of the physical body. The places where the energy field is most accessible from the outside. Cold running water at these points closes what was opened during the extraction. It seals, it finalizes. The fourth step is the most important and the one most people want to skip because it requires them to sit with discomfort rather than immediately filling the newly emptied space with noise or distraction. After the water, you sit quietly for 10 minutes. No phone, no music, no talking, just sitting in the space that has just been cleared. Our shaman said this silence is not empty. This silence is where you reclaim yourself, where your own energy flows back into the spaces that were occupied, where you remember what it feels like to be fully yourself and nothing else. They said most people have been carrying foreign energy for so long that the feeling of their own uncontaminated spirit is unfamiliar. Sit in it anyway. Let it be unfamiliar. It will become familiar again. And you should do this, not once, regularly, the way you clean your home regularly, because the dust does not stop coming just because you cleaned it once. Our shamans did not charge for this. It was considered a basic right of every person in the community to know how to care for their own spirit the same way they knew how to care for their own body. That knowledge was passed freely from elder to young person, from medicine woman to the people she served. It was never meant to be secret. It was never meant to be rare. I am passing it to you now because that is what I was taught to do with it. Your soul is not broken. It is not cursed. It is not permanently damaged. It is carrying things it was never meant to carry, and now you know how to put them down. Start tonight, after the sun goes down, before you go to sleep. Light something, breathe, declare, seal, sit, and tomorrow morning you will feel something you may not have felt in a very long time. You will feel like yourself again.